show you what I got. Where I walk, where I talk. See me flying down my route, pass me the ball. I ain't dropping none, I don't fumble at all. We gon' win a chicken dinner every time we ball. Throwing it like a burner, I dunk it like LeBron. Hey. Monday Night Fredo, Infinity TV.
And we are live here on Monday Night Fredo, live from the Infinity Studios here in Los Angeles. Man, it has been a great weekend so far, man. I mean, believe it or not, even though there were a few disappointing losses yesterday, but guess what? The Lakers are actually winning. But let's not get too excited there because they're not beating the teams they got to beat. I mean, yes, they won 10 games this season, but is AD really an MVP caliber player right now? I don't think so. AD has a lot more to prove. And if you guys stay tuned, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know after the first commercial break, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some basketball. And of course, a lot of Major League Baseball breaking news over this weekend. I mean, we had a Cy Young Award winner leaving the Houston Astros and heading over to the Big Apple with the New York Mets. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know who it is. And as well, another $300 million player leaving Los Angeles and heading to Philadelphia. I'm going to go ahead and give you all those details about MLB free agency, but let's not forget and let's get started with the NFL. Of course, yesterday in the NFL, we had a lot of games to see. I mean, starting from 10 a.m., I was already watching a lot of great football, but there was one specific game that everyone had their eyeballs into, which was at 1 o'clock over in Las Vegas between the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers. Of course, you know, there was a lot of speculation going into this game, whether, you know, Brandon Staley's still going to be the head coach of the LA Chargers, especially after that crucial victory that he got last Sunday over in Arizona, which was a pretty amazing play. Believe it or not, I mean, I was watching that live as it was going. And when we look at the play call, you are down 1 point. You just got to kick that field goal and maybe go to overtime and get a chance at winning. But no, Brandon Staley said, hell no, I'm going to go for it too. And they win it all. Yesterday, they had they had almost the exact moment. I mean, they were coming from behind yesterday playing Las Vegas. Of course, they were leading 13-10. But it happened at the first minute of the third quarter coming into the second half. Austin Eckler fumbles the ball. The Raiders pick it up. First throw from Derek Carr to Devontae Adams for a touchdown. From that moment on, it just seemed like the Las Vegas Raiders took the momentum and they kind of never looked back. They went up by 2 scores. 14 points, kind of about towards the middle of the fourth quarter. And again, Justin Herbert with the bomb, a 50-yarder to Keenan Allen in the end zone and went through for a touchdown. Right after that, the Chargers are down by 7. They're with 4 minutes remaining in the game. They get the turnover they needed. They got the ball back. And then guess what? We are basically under 3 minutes. We were under 3 minutes from Justin Herbert doing another incredible drive. This case, it was not successful. Of course, there's a lot to talk about regarding Brandon Staley's play calling. There is a lot trending today when we look at Sean Payton, who is just waiting in the sideline, not waiting in the sideline, maybe waiting at home with his feet up in the couch, waiting for the call from Tom Telesco, GM of the Chargers, to give him a call and be like, hey, get over here. We need you now. And that's basically what Brandon Staley is dealing with right now. A coach who has another coach waiting to take over his job. And when you're in that situation, when you're in the hot seat, you really got to think about every single decision that you do, because this is going to haunt you at the end of the year. As of today, the LA Chargers still have a 57% chance at making the playoffs, which is pretty good. 57% is pretty good compared to the Las Vegas Raiders, who have a 14% chance at making the playoffs, even though they're only 1 win behind the Los Angeles Chargers. But even Kansas City last night, Kansas City lost a devastating game over in Cincinnati against Joe Burrow, because that guy, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, whoa, that's a duel that every NFL team wants to watch every Sunday. Because when we look at Jamar Chase, we look at Joe Burrow, we look at Patrick Mahomes, and we look at Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, all these great quarterbacks in the AFC. It's very, very hard to maybe think about like, hey, who's gonna get through the AFC Championship game? Because there's a lot of AFC West contenders. You're looking at about 9 teams fighting for 7 spots, which is going to go down to the wire. But guess what? We have 5 weeks remaining of this great NFL season, which is going to be a lot to talk about and see. Right now, currently, Monday Night Football is taking place over in Tampa Bay between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. When we look at the New Orleans Saints, we look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady right now is 5-6. He is under 500 for one of the few times in his career, towards in the middle of the season right now. What does Tampa really got to do this season to really get back on top of everything is basically get Tom Brady 10 years ago. Because Tom Brady right now, he's 43 years old. I mean, I believe it or not, there's maybe been a lot more than me watching football out there. But have you guys really seen another quarterback out there at this age playing with the resume that Tom Brady has? You look at a guy that had 7 Super Bowl rings right now. Kurt Warner, great football player, played towards his late in his career. There's a lot more quarterbacks out there that are a lot better than Tom Brady right now. So with all this Tom Brady hope, whether Tom Brady's going to win another championship this season, I don't think so. All right. So that's basically what's going on in the NFL world. But again, one free agent that's still out there standing around waiting for that phone call is Odell Beckham Jr., which right now Las Vegas has the odds favorites for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are the favorite team to get Odell Beckham Jr. And talking about the Cowboys, I'm going to go ahead and close out this segment with the Cowboys. I didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, but it did get a chance to trend out there after LeBron James brought it up to the media during a post-game interview. And he mentioned, hey, is anyone going to talk about the Jerry Jones photo that was kind of floating around out there? When I saw that photo and, when you look at it, it is something that a lot of people have been dealing with for years and years. And in this photo, correct me if I'm wrong, this was like in 1956, 1957. You look at Jerry Jones. When you look at that face of that kid standing in the back, because there was maybe about 10, 12 people in front of him, and he was just kind of standing in the back, even though he was there protecting his school, protecting whatever his rights at the time were. But when you now look 60 years later, 70 years later, and you are the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and believe it or not, there's been so many situations, whether it's in the NFL, whether it's in baseball, and even in basketball that we dealt with the Los Angeles Clippers about 10 years ago with Donald Sterling. When racism is just not allowed in any place. It's just basically not allowed. And back then we understand that, the circumstances were a lot different than what they are now. But nobody really paid attention to that photo. They looked at it and whether they made a comment or not, and they didn't say nothing. The media doesn't kind of really want to talk about it. They don't put it out there. I understand Jerry Jones is a very powerful man. I guess that's one way we can call it. He is very powerful out there, and anyone with money and power can really silence people. But it took LeBron James to really bring it to more people's attention and really highlight what that situation was back then. And I got to agree with LeBron James. There was a few things that he said. He talked briefly about it. But when you have to look at Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, 60, 70 years ago doing that, that's just something that is not allowed anywhere. And I'm not here to say, hey, we got to take the Cowboys away from Jerry Jones, which is at the end of the day, that is a scenario that a lot of people want. But when you look at what he brought to the table and what he did years ago, it is not okay. And I don't know what kind of what can they do in this situation? This is where I'm opening it up for you guys to kind of let me know. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Fredo Cervantes, or go ahead and post on the comments down here below. But what can you do now? Like, Jerry Jones is not being held accountable. Yes, he's not being held accountable for something that happened 70, 60 years ago. But what can be done now to change the narrative? What can everyone do? That's up to you guys. to make something happen and bring more awareness to everyone in regarding Jerry Jones in the situation that he brings. Because what happened with Donald Sterling years ago, it didn't take that long to take that team away from him, even though it was something that happened currently at the time in 2011. It was as bad. It was as bad as it is. And as everyone saw it, of course, one picture can tell you a million words. But right now, this picture right now, you're watching to me live from the Infinity Studios. I got 100 more words to tell you about Anthony Davis. Is he an MVP type of player this year? Or are the Lakers actually a championship contending team? Take a deep breath, because you will too when we come back here on Monday Night Fredo.
Hey guys, you got to check out the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center. It's a family-owned and operated pre-ICO, Prop D compliant, and recreational collective serving Chatsworth, the San Fernando Valley, and the surrounding Los Angeles areas. They offer discounts for all our veterans and seniors 55 plus, as well as first-time patient and referral discounts. You can order online at purelifesfv.org. That's purelifesfv.org.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
And we're back here on Monday Night Fredo, live from the Infinity Studios here in Los Angeles. Again, guys, go ahead and subscribe right now. As you're watching right now here on YouTube, subscribe to the Infinity Studios streaming channel. Go ahead and catch all the amazing shows they got going up here. If you want to go ahead and look at something new, the breaks are coming here to the Infinity Studios channel. So go ahead and make sure you check that out. And as well, remember, you can always catch the Profanity Nation podcast every Sunday night at 8:30 Pacific here on the Infinity Studios. And make sure you catch Money Mike. Keep hating out there. I know, Money Mike, if you're somewhere out there watching or listening, I know, just take a second and chill, relax on the chair, because I'm about to teach you something, Money Mike. And I hope you can listen right now, because when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, and a lot of people want to be happy, and people want to be like, well, look, Anthony Davis is back to the player that he is, and LeBron James is playing great, and Russell Westbrook is maybe the best player right now, that a lot of people don't want to give him credit. Because if it wasn't for Russell Westbrook coming off the bench and taking on that role, you would not be looking at a team that has at least 10 wins right now, which is still pretty sad. It's a sad story. It's very, very sad. And I wish I had some tissues right here to be wiping my tears, but it's a sad story in Los Angeles. We cannot be happy about winning 10 games in early December right now. You cannot. I said this weeks ago, the Lakers are not going to win over 25 to 30 games this season. I guarantee you that they're not going to win like that. Anthony Davis right now, yes, he scored 55 points yesterday. Yes, he scored 44 the day before. Yes, he scored maybe 36 the prior day. Yes, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday night, which was maybe the biggest win of them all. Defeating the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, it was a huge win, but maybe Darvin Ham had a cheat sheet because he was an assistant coach there last season and for previous years. So maybe Darvin Ham really knew a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks, which it seemed like it, because the Los Angeles Lakers were leading all game long that Friday night. But when we look at the Washington Wizards, you cannot be too excited. Who did they got? They got Kyle Kuzma. Bradley Beal was not playing. Yes, you expect the Lakers to win against a team like that. You expect them to beat the Detroit Pistons. You expect them to beat the San Antonio Spurs 3 times in 7 nights. We can see that happen. But when you play the Clippers, you lose. When you play Cleveland, you lose. When you play, luckily, they beat Brooklyn. I mean, without Kyrie Irving and only Kevin Durant, no Ben Simmons. The Lakers need a lot more to prove. Tomorrow night, we got a big matchup. Tomorrow, we got a very, very big matchup over in Cleveland with LeBron making his return to the Cleveland land. Right now, tomorrow will be live on TNT, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. The Lakers and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they are not the team that is being displayed on right now. I don't want to hear no pom-poms. I don't want to hear no cheers. I don't want to hear nothing. And I'm going to use the words that Money Mike likes to say a lot is, did he win a championship? Are we going to win a championship? No, we're not. We're not going to win a championship. We're not that good. We're not. So I just want to get certain Laker fans to understand that this season is not worth it. The Lakers are already looking for next season to see what they're going to do once they get Russell Westbrook off the books. That's $47 million you're going to be clearing right there. So there's going to be Kyrie Irving, who's going to be a free agent. So I prefer that matchup right there, looking at that, and you can maybe have some higher hopes in winning a championship. But the team right now is not going to win. Is not going to win anything. And I don't want to say that it's going to be AD. It's not going to be LeBron. I mean, you know, people that have been watching Monday Night Fredo know that I'm not a fan of Darvin Ham. I'm not a fan of Darvin Ham. And these games, what happened to that Monday night game? I mean, for the people that were watching Monday Night Fredo last Monday, let's rewind a little bit. When we're live on Monday Night Fredo, we're watching a very good game with the Lakers winning. And they were up by like 17 points heading into the fourth quarter. Heading into the fourth quarter, you're up 17 points. I was driving home listening to the game. I was like, okay, wow, they finally won a game. You know, it's very exciting. But then you look, and they go on the 15-0 run. They allow so many points. There is no timeouts being called as a head coach. As a head coach, if you see your team giving up at least 8 points in a row, I'm going to call timeout. Call timeout. This is what's happening, guys. Darvin Ham is just out there like this. All right, cool. Next thing you know, you lose the game. Next thing you know, you lose the game by one crucial 3-point shot at the buzzer. I mean, you got to give that kid some credit. I mean, I don't even know his name. But that man from Indiana shot that ball and he lit it up. I mean, we have Miles Turner here in Los Angeles. We have Buddy Hield here in Los Angeles. These guys came out and showed out. And I don't want Miles Turner here. I don't want Buddy Hield here. I want to keep this team and don't destroy it. And hopefully we can win a championship in a few years, because I don't see us winning a damn thing this year. Not a damn thing. But another team that I do see someone winning something, it's the Boston Celtics. And I know, I keep saying this all the time. People are like, Fredo, why you like Boston so much? It's not that I like them so much. It's that sometimes I want to hate on Boston. But when you look at the team they got, I mean, oh my God, it makes me think like, why at the time I wanted Lonzo Ball as a Laker, taking second overall in 2017, but Jason Tatum got taken third overall. And I know Stephen A. Smith always says it, and he tells Magic Johnson to his face, why did you take Lonzo when you had Jason Tatum right there? Jason Tatum is the MVP this season. That's a fact. He's leading his team with 19 wins this season, only 5 losses so far. That's a championship caliber team. And I understand me. I mean, you're looking at a Laker fan, longtime Laker fan. And I know Money Mike did not call me a Laker fan a few months ago when we made that bet. And yes, Money Mike, he did win that bet. And, you know, they were playing the Golden State Warriors, one of the greatest teams in this era. But the Boston Celtics are going to win this season. Now, I'm going to put my money down in Vegas. The Boston Celtics are a very good team. They're a scary team. Malcolm Brogdon, scary. I mean, Blake Griffin, he was doing pretty good this past week. Also, very good. And say it, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Derek White, these guys are going to win a championship. That's what I'm going to go ahead and finish this segment off. But the Boston Celtics are good. The Lakers aren't. And there is one player that is coming to Los Angeles that might flip all this around. And even though it's not in basketball, it's not in football, but it's in baseball. All right. We have a new judge coming to town. I'm going to go ahead and tell you who and when it's going to happen when we return here on Monday Night Freedom.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here on Monday Night Fredo, live from the Infinity Studios here in Los Angeles, guys. Of course, I did finish off the segment talking about how great the Boston Celtics are and how awful the Lakers are going to be this season. And, next Tuesday night, live from the Crypto.com arena, we got the Boston Celtics against the Los Angeles Lakers. And, of course, for the people that have been following, they know that I am 0-2 with Money Mike, making any sort of bets. Money Mike did take some of my money, but it's not going to take so long until I take some of his money from his wallet. And I'm going to tell Money Mike, I know Money Mike is somewhere in the building. Money Mike, if you can hear me clearly, I will put money down on the Boston Celtics next Tuesday night against floppy Anthony Davis and big-headed coach Darvin Ham. Can you hear me, Money Mike? I don't know if you want to go ahead and put some money down on that, but you can clearly say it whenever you want, because I got Boston all day on that game, okay? That's my bet right there on Money Mike, and I hope Money Mike accepts my bet, and I hope he takes it, because I cannot wait for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown to go ahead and get me some extra money right there. All right, so that's what it is. And when we look at what we looking at in Major League Baseball, of course, like I said, it has been a wild weekend so far in Major League Baseball. It is the MLB winter meetings. During these winter meetings, there is a lot of trades going. There's every single GM is meeting, and they are talking and moving players. First player to get moved was Justin Verlander. I did talk about Justin Verlander last Monday here on Monday Night Fredo, saying that, he did meet with the Los Angeles Dodgers last Monday. Took a while. 5 days later, he accepted a deal, a 2-year deal worth $87 million. 2 years worth $87 million to go from the Houston Astros to the New York Mets. Man, oh man, you got Justin Verlander in New York, and the Big Apple is going to be a very, very good team. I mean, we saw the type of team that the New York Mets were this past season, winning over 100 games, losing in the first round. Yes, they got a new manager, but they did also lose another pitcher. Jacob deGrom signed a 5-year deal with the Texas Rangers, leaving the New York Mets after almost 8 seasons. I mean, you look at 2 Cy Young pitchers moving from one team to another, and talking about Cy Young pitchers moving, there is one that stood in town. That is Clayton Kershaw, Dodger Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, signed with the Dodgers for 1 more year worth $20 million. So we have a few Cy Young pitchers out there that are re-signing with some ball clubs, moving along. But there's also another guy that goes by the name of Trea Turner, who was with the Dodgers for about 1.5 years, coming from the Washington Nationals the season before. Just signed an 11-year deal, 11 years worth $300 million. And that story just broke earlier this morning with Trea Turner leaving the Dodgers and heading to Philadelphia. Philadelphia just came off a World Series appearance, so adding a Trea Turner to the shortstop position is going to be very good for them. But when we look at the last three shortstops, anybody out there, who were the last three shortstops that played for the last Los Angeles Dodgers? The last three shortstops were Trea Turner, Manny Machado, and Corey Seager. Those three players walked away in free agency, not traded. They walked away in free agency to get a $300 million contract from another team, something the Dodgers did not want to give Corey Seager last season, something they did not want to give Manny Machado the previous season before, and something they did not want to give Trea Turner this season. So when you look at the Dodgers, you look at the front office, you look at Andrew Friedman, the decisions that he's made by not signing these players again, I mean, he always finds a way to fill in the holes. Of course, there is another shortstop right now that's in talks as well with the Dodgers, with the Brewers, and with the Angels, which is former All-Star and MVP Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa is currently playing for the Minnesota Twins, was one of the cheaters for the Houston Astros back in 2017 and 2018. But can Carlos Correa really come into the Dodger organization after all the backlash that he faced after being a cheater, a well-known cheater with the Houston Astros back in 2017? I mean, I will accept Carlos Correa with open arms because at this point we need a shortstop. I mean, we need someone to fill in that hole, but there's another hole that we got to fill in. Right fielder Mookie Betts is not a right fielder. Mookie Betts is now a second baseman, according to the Dodgers statistics reports out there. So does that mean that the right field position is now open for the Judge? That's Aaron Judge from the New York Yankees, who is still waiting to make a decision. Whether is he going to leave the New York Yankees? Is he going to go to the San Francisco Giants? Is he going to go to the Boston Red Sox? Or is he going to come to Los Angeles? One of the reports out there says that him and Mookie Betts are very good connected friends. A lot of times we want to look at situations like this. Who's friends with who? Who has kids with who? And certain things like that. It shows that kids within Judge, within Mookie, they celebrate the offseason a lot together. So right now, when we want to think about who's celebrating during the offseason, Mookie Betts making the decision to leave right field to second base kind of makes you think a little bit. Well, why would he do that? Why would he leave the right field position knowing that Aaron Judge has been publicly saying that he is not willing to play the left side or not willing to play center field? Put a couple pieces together. We'll make some announcements sometime this week, sometime next week, whether Aaron Judge is coming to Hollywood. That is something that I am excited to see, whether Aaron Judge can come over here and hit 65 home runs, break more records, and maybe finally win a real championship here in Los Angeles, because we want to say that the 2020 championships here in Los Angeles, surprisingly, talking about 2020, I don't know how we did it. I honestly don't know how we did it. Both of the teams combining, winning within the same month. Within the same month in October, they both won the championship. So it was a crazy experience, but it's not the first time it happens here. It happened in 88. So even though it was about 35 years ago, it has happened here in Los Angeles. But another thing that's going to happen in Los Angeles next Sunday night, it is NFL football. Actually, a good football team that's actually in contention to make it to the playoffs. And the Los Angeles Chargers are hosting the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated Miami Dolphins under Tua Tagovailoa, coming to Sunday Night Football at SoFi Stadium. This upcoming Sunday is going to be a very, very good game to watch. Of course, everyone follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Fredo Cervantes, as I will be bringing you guys a lot of the great updates. I mean, I'll be out there. It's just going to be interesting to see if the Chargers win this game. They're facing Tennessee the following game, which are two teams that are right ahead of them in the playoff picture. And again, next Tuesday, Money Mike, Boston, Lakers. Woo, man, oh man. Should I get a Celtics jersey? I'm just kidding. I'm never going to wear nothing Boston. I'm just a fan of the sport. I love basketball, and I love the way that Boston plays basketball. That's all I got to say. Until next time, you'll see me here back next Monday night on the Infinity Studios. See you soon.